Well, what's Tabasco the Saucy Raccoon doing in Chapter 8? The Chapter 8 is called There's a Raccoon Everywhere. Well, we've now left Simon Fraser University and we're holidaying with Jack in the Okanagan. And he's spring, and Tabasco is almost a year old. She's always free to go where she wants, and perhaps she'll roam around and look for a mate. She certainly came back home when she guessed there was a party. She loved parties, especially if there was a barrel of beer around. And then one week, when she was in heat, she didn't come home at all. I'm going to read that one. On the 7th day, I drew back the curtains in the kitchen, and there, sitting on the ground in the cage, was Tabasco. And this was surprising. Never before had she entered the cage of her own free will. She looked thin and haggard, and yet she hadn't touched her food. She was just sitting quietly on her haunches like a cat. It was a position I had not seen her in before. The door of the cage was open. Why hadn't she come into the house? Something was wrong. I ran outside and picked her up. She made a slight attempt to bare her teeth, as if any minute she needed to defend herself, and then she cuddled down against my sweater. She was so thin it was obvious she had not been eating well in the wild. I brought her inside the living room to put her on the floor, but she clung to me and licked my face. I put her down on the floor. She could only crawl. Tabasco, what happened to you? You're limping. You're dragging your right leg. Like an eel, she slithered towards me and tried to climb into my lap. Had she been run over by a car or hit by a shovel? I didn't know how far she had gone to get into trouble or what had happened to her, but like a sick dog, she had hobbled home to where she felt safe, and I was glad. The vet said she had a fractured pelvis, and you can read Chapter 8 yourself to find out what happened. Chapter 8 is one drama after another. But I'll tell you one thing, Tabasco's friend, our dog Beauregard, is the hero. For me, the rest of the book is very emotional, and unlike many other writers, I do not fictionalize the truth. I tell it like it is. But such are my life's experiences, I can usually find something good when things go bad. But you can discover what happens next yourself by reading the rest of the book, Tabasco the Saucy Raccoon. Well, that was Chapter 8 with Tabasco the Saucy Raccoon. And now in my life as I'm reading the book, I've got my new raccoon. It's a cat.